It's completely overgrown with trees in the middle of it where a car couldn't even drive through unless they decided to run over trees and stuff and get all scratched up. So we want to talk to you and see, do you want us to not have them park there? Because I mean, we could go through and say, legally you can't park here, but if the city's not even going to take the time to keep the alley open, nobody's driving through it anyway. So it just depends on, we want to talk to you and see if you want us to go and make them move that car, or, because we can,
I know,
but we just didn't know.
It don't bother you, it don't bother me.
Okay.
It don't bother me. I just look at, I just thought about if an emergency came up, and then, like, they don't get home half the time. I said, well, they just tow them in, because they have towed them. There was a guy parks a Ford right there in my drive, when we go on our driveway. And he just parked his there and left it. And after 2 weeks, they come and towed the family away. I did call it in, they come and towed it away.
But it's blocking your driveway there?
No, it wasn't blocking mine, but it was blocking that alley, because when DPU came down there to fix the wires, they couldn't get in there. So that's when they towed it away.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of the things we looked at and we're like, hey, the alley's not even, you can't even drive through the alley. So
isn't the alley supposed to be open?
Yeah, it's supposed to be
open, but there's trees in it. So we move the car, now you got trees in the middle of the alley.
Yeah.
If you go right at the back of the property, there's trees and all sorts of brush growing back
Isn't
there.
that a violation for the city?
I think we should write them up.
Yeah.
Let's find them like they find us.
Call their attention to it or something,
I mean, we could, if you want it cleaned up and you want cars parking through there, if I lived in that house, we're across from you, I don't know if I want cars going back in it. And if it was open at nighttime, cars could be parking back in there and in the dark spots and doing who knows what. So if we clean it, is it going to cause more problems for the neighborhood or not? So we got to look at it that way, because we've gone through and did these big projects where we cleaned all the brush out of those alleys. And the people wanted it, and they said after we did it, people started using it, they're back here doing drugs, there's car stops all night long. And he goes, it's the worst thing, we thought it'd be nicer, but he goes, it was worse.
Well, it sounds like that's what they're doing anyway, you're parking back there, it's closed.
Not at this one. This one's not, I mean, it's only, what, 50 foot deep, maybe 60 foot deep, and then there's trees, so they can't cross.
Like you said, emergency vehicles can't even get through there.
But they wouldn't go through
and stuff.
Yeah. But I mean,
it probably could have came in from the other side if it had been open.
There's a guy parked there right about one night ago. What was my driveway, what the garage door is. He parked there. And I didn't see a car. I said, somebody out there in that car. I said, you want him to move? He said, yeah. I said, okay. So I just opened up my front door. I didn't set the alarm went off. I said, they'll be moving in a minute.
Is it a street light or something? Back up in there?
No, it's only where two houses are. It goes right, I mean, that alley's probably only, the total length of it might be 250 feet long. And there's one house here, one house here. It doesn't block anything. It just goes from one street to the next.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, I mean, it's overgrown trees, so apparently nobody's used it for a very long time.
I think that house is abandoned on the back side.
And the house on the back side is abandoned, so there's only, so really the people where they're parking is kind of like they're using it as a parking, like a driveway. But we can do it, we don't care, we can do it either way. If you want us to try to have the city clear all that brush out and open it up, we can do that, we don't care. If you want us to do that, we'll do that, we can work on that if you want. You want us to do that?
I said, yeah, work on it.
Okay.
That's,
we can do that.
it's what they're supposed to do.
I know, but I'm just saying from past experience, we've done it before, and then it created different problems.
Right.
Because it was a dark hiding spot, because the house behind
May
it,
or may not.
so the house behind it's vacant.
That's the way to see.
So once we open it up, you might find cars backing in there in the middle of the night doing who knows what. And so once we open up, it just may create more problems, is all we're saying, caution about. But we don't care either way. If you want us to open it up, we'll see when the city opens it up. So.
What did you say the name of the new officer is?
He's the codes officer, and it's Smith. Codes officer Smith.
What did, the other court officer, was he reassigned?
So we had a lady that was the codes officer up this way, Officer Crab, and then Officer, what was her name before that? Logan. Officer Logan, or Officer, she got divorced and then it was Officer Crab after it was Officer Logan. She got another job somewhere else and left the Eugene, went to Johnson County. And then we had another codes officer, Zone, that was down on the other side, but in our area. And so he's gone now. So he got a different job within Eugene, so.
But you said there'll be 3 of you that will be,
Well, the 2 officers and the codes officer.
that you'll be patrolling, like driving around or?
Well, he's gonna be doing code stuff. So he's in the white car that says, Wyandotte County, and it says codes on it. So like, if your house needs painted or your grass is too tall, he's the one that's gonna be writing you letters saying, hey, mow your grass, or take out or get the trash out of your yard, or he's that guy. And we help him with a lot of stuff, and he helps us with a lot of stuff. So we actually got the house on State Avenue, 14th and State, just back up on the hill that we're having a bunch of problems with. We got that house unfit, and nobody's living there now, and all the utilities are off. So that has been a big problem. The SWAT team's been out there about 4 different times on search warrants. And they've got a lot of guns out of the house. There's violent felons in there that have pulled guns on a lot of different citizens for different things. We finally got that house closed down. So that's kind of, it's not necessarily right, it's not in Strugglers Hill, but it's right across the street, so it's pretty close. So that was a big deal to us because it's been a huge problem. They're pulling guns on UG employees, business owners down here, threatening them, threatening their families. One of them actually got arrested for one of our homicides that we just had recently at the end of last year. So it was a pretty bad house. So we got that closed down just early this month.
I had a question on I guess New Year's Eve. There was a lot, well, not a lot of shooting, but every year it's the house, I think it's on Nebraska. I think that's the house where they've been dealing drugs for years and years, where the cars go up the alley.
The little house?
I'm not sure which house it is.
The little house on Nebraska shut down. They got kicked out. We're at 12th in Nebraska?
12 on the block on Nebraska.
Yeah.
Cars go up the alley,
Okay.
and that goes, but even when
You're
you
talking
go,
about the
they
north side or
let
south
out.
side?
They go up the alley, and I'm not sure which house to go to, but New Year's Eve, they were shooting there. That was, and I think it was on Nebraska.
North side.
The north side?
It was really, really bad.
One of the houses we got shut down. That's unfit now. They got those people out.
Near,
One that was a drug.
near 12th.
The little house on Nebraska, on the north side,
Yeah,
about close to the middle of the block, but probably more to the east.
yeah.
That house is, we got them out and it was unfit.
But New Year's Eve, I've never heard weapon. It was like, that was like Iran almost.
Well,
But I thought it was an ordinance that you couldn't shoot inside the city.
there is an ordinance that you can't shoot, but we are overwhelmed on New Year's Eve. There's
I would imagine.
350 calls that come in between 10 and 1 o'clock in the morning for shots fired.
Right.
And every officer that can take the day off is going to take the day off because they want to be at the New Year's Eve party. So we're minimum,
Right.
we're very, very short with officers, and there's a bazillion calls coming in for shots fired, fireworks, everything else. So what we typically used to do right around midnight was put our cars in the parking garage so we wouldn't get bullet holes in our cars because we kept getting bullets
Right.
hitting our cars. So we'd go underneath the concrete roof for a few minutes for the bullets to settle down before we go out and run some more calls. But I've been driving around on New Year's and seen a guy with his kid outside in the front yard, just north of Quindaro. And he has an AR-15 in his hand. And I stop and I jump out. I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, what? Celebrating New Year's. Like, what? He goes, we're celebrating. And I was like, you can't be shooting your gun. He goes, like, what? He goes, everybody does this. I'm like, yeah. I said, where are you shooting at? He goes, just up in the air. I'm like, yeah, those bullets come down and sometimes kill people. He goes, I didn't think of that. I was just like, he has a little 7, 8-year-old kid out there. He goes, I just bought it like not long ago, and he was just out there, 30 rounds in the air. And he just goes, I didn't know. Like, what? I didn't know. So, yeah. I I mean, it's, that, you get that a lot. A lot of times people go in their backyards and shoot into the dirt. Hopefully they're at least shooting into the ground if they are.
Right.
I don't think we'll ever be able to stop. I don't know what we can do. I don't think we'll ever be able to stop it because by the time you get the call, it takes, you call dispatcher. Dispatcher types it all in, gets all your information, how can we get a hold of you, where do you live, what's the address, all this. That takes a minute, minute and a half, probably the quickest. Then by the time they call me on the radio and say, hey, can you go to a shots fired call in this area, I gotta drive to that area. Best case scenario, 5-6 minutes has gone by and they're inside the house, and I'm driving around looking at nobody.
Well, it's only concern, it was just, you hear a song, but I never heard the rapid fire. It was.
That was so bad when you said it. When I worked for the roofing company, that was the first time it ever dawned on me. When I said, where those bullets come from? I never thought about people too, and they gotta come somewhere. When I never, and the guy I worked with, he said, oh, shoot. He said, you don't know where they come from? I said, I wasn't thinking, but I did not, I said, well, I'll be gone.
Yeah.
Was a few years ago, I guess, a little girl got killed over here. Police came down and killed her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that happens. Somebody goes,
That's what goes up, must come down.
Yeah.
unless you're talking about taxes.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
Because I don't know if it applies to taxes, not Wyandotte County.
No, we really don't.
Might just go up.
That's
I hope they start, why don't you tell them that, because I need my taxes to go down.
You like everybody else, in Johnson County.
It's cheaper,
That's what they tell me.
it's cheaper. So, is there anything you want us to work on? Anything that we need to work on?
Everything we need to work on.
You got anything else, Chester?
He up there eating ice
He's just
cream.
worried about his ice cream.
Well, that's right, eating
They
pork
don't
belly.
got nothing else to talk about.
Chester, anything else?
He can't.
Mr. Owens, anything else you want the police to work on?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
you
get
guys
your
good,
You guys do a good job. We appreciate y'all. We keep saying everything.
Well,
We
thank you.
appreciate that.
Yes, we do.
You're all the best.
That's what we keep telling each other, we're the best. But nobody else says that at our office, and I know you guys aren't.
They're just jealous.
Maybe,
Yeah.
I hope that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Well, Carol, she told, that lady that's in charge, she said, those are the two greatest guys y'all got on the department. She told her that, when we last heard.
Our captain said that about us?
Now Carol told him
Oh,
that.
she probably,
She told him about you two.
Well, good.
She said they're the two greatest on the police force. That's all you need.
But not say it too loud, because they might take them away from us.
we've talked to them about that, and so far they said that they're not gonna move us unless we request to be moved. And there's we don't wanna go anywhere. So we enjoy working down here. There's a lot of work to do, because this area is so big.
Yeah, it is.
It's so big, so there's a whole lot that it doesn't, and we take on other jobs like this illegal dumping, and we're working on graffiti stuff too. And so we're taking on extra stuff beside what's down here, but we like to stay busy. We kind of get bored if there's nothing going on, so we want to be doing something, and we want to get this area cleaned up. We're really happy that these houses are getting bought up, people are fixing them up, and it's kind of, you know, when you look at the neighborhoods and there's more empty houses than occupied houses, it's kind of sad. So it's good to see families moving in, and kind of every time we see a pile of trash, it just makes us both mad.
Oh, yeah.
We get fear, we're like, really? Like, we live here, you know, we want it to be clean, so.
We dig through that trash looking for names.
Yeah, we try to find out who did it, so we can arrest them for it.
Yeah, that's how I found out people out in west of us, yeah, were bringing their trash down here, put on Saturday nights, Sunday. I dig, put my gloves on,
Yeah.
dig down that trash to find tickets, sit it right back in front of the house.
The last trash pile I dug through, found cocaine in it,
Oh, my God.
and we got a search warrant and got more weed and cocaine out of a vehicle based off of it, and they're probably gonna kick the door in on the house, because now we know it's a dope house, because all their trash with all their drug paraphernalia was in it,
Right.
and their addresses and their names.
Oh, my gosh.
So I was like, okay, they just gave it to us pretty much.
This time, come on.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, there's a lot going on, but, so we don't plan on going anywhere, and we haven't heard, they're not planning on moving us either, so. If they do, you know, go down there and cause a riot.
Yeah, right.
We don't want them to go anywhere.
I've kind of missed this, but have they, selected the new chief yet?
Not yet. That process is actually just started.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we'll see what happens. We want a good one, so.
We're thinking probably June.
They'll probably start in June once they go through the process.
Okay, you wanna put my name in? I'm just
If you want, yeah, actually.
Let's get it.
I've worked for you all day long.
Yeah. We'll put it in there. Yeah, I don't think you'd want that job. It's too political. I used to think maybe I'll, you know, try to move up. Nah, it's all politics.
I would like the salary, but I don't want the job.
Yeah. Take home car, good benefits. Maybe I will throw your name in the hat.
What about one of y'all?
I do, just so I can fire a bunch of people I don't like. You don't see us taking, we're not even sergeants, we're not even taking the test. So we don't even want to get promoted to a sergeant or a sergeant. How many times have you passed the test?
Like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, I've passed it probably 4 times. Oh, I won't even take the test, because I don't want to be in the position where they offer me the money, and me looking at the money going, oh, maybe I'll do it for the money. Because it adds stress, and it's not as good for the family.
The money is not everything.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right. I did that one time when I used to work at Home Depot. I took a promotion for the money and regretted it. It was a bad move. I didn't like my job anymore. I didn't like going to work, all for a couple bucks an hour, and I was like, I'm never gonna do that again. So, just money. Can't take it with you. Sure. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Thank